Yeah, nah, it's just because, I'm watching like the YouTube clips or whatever, and it's like you can tell these aren't traditional Knicks fans. These niggas ain't never been to a basketball game in their lives. They saw an
Well,
opportunity to tear some shit up, and they did. That,
no, and they, but like I said before, I will give them credit because the amount of people that was on the street versus the actual amount of incidents, I think, we can get through the parade. I think we might be all right in New York. We might be okay. Just don't, like Cameron said, leave the Statue of Liberty alone.
brother, that is not
Don't
a
bother
guarantee.
it. If they can figure out how, if listen, if they figure out how to get a boat, they're gonna figure it out. I don't know who, but if they figure out how to get a boat, and if anybody could do it, New York can do it.
Hey, look, I was around here looking for everybody with a Vegas Knights jersey, but I couldn't find anybody.
Vegas Knights.
Yeah, man. Carolina Hurricanes won the Stanley Cup, so
They
I was going to
did.
show
They
out too.
did.
I was going to show
That's
out
funny.
too, but
But you was gonna cause some trouble.
I was ripping jerseys off, but I ain't
Okay.
see nobody, so
All
I had to
right.
chill.
You didn't see no Golden Knights. I understand.
No Golden Knights jerseys. They lucky.
Yeah. Hey, yeah, man. But shout out to the Knicks, man. I don't want to bore us with a whole nother Knicks overview. Listen, man, they handled it. They handled business, and I respect it. Shout out to them. However, I've been watching a lot of sports radio and commentary, and I've heard some outlandish things, and I wanted to come bring it to the podcast. So, let's start with a list. I got a list. Okay, so let's start with the Spurs should go get Giannis.
How?
They could probably do it, but
They give
that
up their
neither
whole
here.
roster.
Exactly. That if that ain't the stupidest thing I ever heard in my life. But I did want to spawn into this. What should the Spurs do, if anything?
Nothing.
Go ahead, elaborate. Or just the people on the court.
Nothing. Them guys are 20. Like, like this is from me watching, right? And this is from what I see, and as much as I watch, and just comparing it with other sports. Like you have a base, you start bringing in other people. You start bringing in. When I say other, I mean older. So like, what are you gonna do? Get younger? So you have a team. To me, the only thing that or the biggest contributor of what happened was just the fact they're young. They haven't been there before. They haven't experienced that to where okay, we're going to just change the game and now you're not going to win. So to me, I say you run it back. You got to at least run it back one time. Now, if it doesn't work again next year, whatever, then you do it. But just to go blow it all up right now off of what happened, I wouldn't do that.
Go ahead, Drew.
No, I agree. I have. I don't think talent lost it for him. I think an experience, and I think I'll be honest, and I've been saying it since the first series of the playoffs. Poor coaching, and I give the coach credit for getting them there. It's just I've never seen a coach refuse to make adjustments at halftime. I've never seen.
He didn't make
I don't know.
adjustments
I think
in the whole series
yeah, and I think you might have said this in
at
one of the
all.
chats. They were literally up every single game
Oh, the whole
and blew all of them
So
and blew
what's the
every single.
NBA's equivalent of we're up by 2, 3 touchdowns? We're just going to run the ball. Even though you know we're going to run the ball, we're just going to
29.
run the ball. What is that in the NBA?
20 in the fourth is about that. That you up 20 in the fourth, you should be running
You
the
know
ball.
I'm going to milk the clock.
Equivalent.
Yeah.
At this point
Yeah,
in time, points are no longer it's that's the clock. Let's get up out of here, dog. That's
because
why.
that
Yeah.
that post I put in the chat, and it was like it's the little meme or whatever, and they're all in the huddle, and they said, "Hey, we up 29. Keep shooting threes." That's it. Like they literally every first half
So
they shot like 60% from three. There's no way to continue that through an entire game, and I think the coach has to see that. We hot the first
yeah.
half, we hit all these threes. Second half, shoot maybe two or three. They ain't dropping. Get to the basket because what you also do is you get other team in foul
Well,
trouble. You shooting these
well,
long threes and you're missing. That's a long rebound, run
well.
out.
Hold on. But I think, and that's why I think I'm gonna disagree. I think they do have some changes they need to make. Now I'm not saying they need to I'm not saying
Think roster
specific.
wise or
Yes. I don't
okay,
think they
go
need to
for
make
it.
a coaching change because he's a first year head coach,
It's first or second.
first or second. I think he might have been the interim coach last year.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Anyway, first or second year head coach. He was in the finals. That counts for something. Now
Mm-hmm.
you blew it when you got there, but it counts for something, right? You can't. Every coach don't make it to the finals, so you don't just toss him out with the bathwater, right? You got to kind of. So I don't necessarily think you. I think this is a learning experience. All
No,
right,
I agree.
you see what you didn't do. All right. Let's learn from this. But roster wise, I think there's a couple things they need to change. I think they need a center. Wemby's not a center. He's just tall.
He's not.
He's not a center. He's just tall. And so he's not a center in the way, even more so than the way that AD's not a center. Right? And I think AD's probably more equipped to be a center. He's just, because AD's
I agree.
bigger in frame. He's just not big enough to be a center. Everybody's saying, go in the hole, go in the hole. He can't. He won't. He can't. This is not a choice. He can't. And I firmly believe he shot all them threes because he was tired. Right? You go from averaging about 29 minutes a game in the regular season, and now they expect you 40 plus. Yeah, that's gonna cause some problems, right?
I want to touch on that too when you're done. Go ahead.
That's gonna cause some problems. So they need a center, right? They need someone who can eat up the other team. Like you got to free him up a little bit. So
Can you want better real quick? I hate to cut you.
Mm-hmm.
They have 3 other centers on roster. They just don't play them.
They not good.
Not got you, but like
They're
at
not
least
good.
try him in some schemes.
Well, I think they did with my man, but
To my Luke.
Luke Cornett. It worked in the Oklahoma City series. It just didn't work. They was eating him alive in New York. He just became unplayable, I think. But regardless of the fact, I think they need a center. But you're right. They didn't trust it enough to even give it much of a shot. So that's true. But so they need that because he is not that. Because even in this series, it's 7-4. It's him and 3 guards and a forward, and he's guarding Josh Hart. Like he's not a center. So let's just kind of move away. He's more so to me a representation. He's closer to a KD than he is Elijah.
Yeah.
If you whatever,
I
right?
agree.
Now he'll get stronger, but he's not going to get bigger. He's not going to get much bigger. So that's the one thing they need. Number 2, they need Dylan Harper's the starter, and they need someone they can give the ball to in the fourth quarter, and you can go get us a bucket. Calm this down. Hey, shit's going haywire. Hey, give me this, and you got 2 or 3 things you can do that's going to either put you to you need someone who can slow it down. Like everybody on that team just goes so fast. You need someone okay, let's slow the pace down. And they didn't have that. And De'Aaron Fox was supposed to be that, but De'Aaron Fox ain't nothing but the fastest person in the league. And so it just didn't work. Unfortunately, De'Aaron Fox's new contract kicks in. So I think a lot of people are going to be disappointed when De'Aaron Fox got a Spurs uniform on next year. So he might be, and I don't know if he's going to be coming off the bench either because he's got a new contract. So it might be some pissed off people because I think Dylan Harper should be the starter. I don't know if that puts Stephon Castle to the bench, which that shouldn't do as well, or Vassell. I don't know what they do with the De'Aaron Fox situation because he doesn't help them in any other capacity. But we need veteran leadership on the court in the fourth quarter. You failed at that tremendously. I actually don't. We don't have a purpose for you. What did I say after game 1 of the series?
Dylan Harper got to start.
Dylan Harper got to start, and
said stop subbing.
Yeah,
Dylan Harper for Fox.
Stop. Like I said it from the jump because 1, he's a liability defensively. Those dudes are so good defensively. They switch everything.
Yeah.
Except for him. And then he starts running around like a chicken with his head cut off. The reason OG and Anunoby was able to get that tip in, that was his box out.
He's sitting there looking and shit.
That was his box out. So, like, you tremendously failed. And I said I wasn't going to talk about the finals, but that just really bothered me. You failed at you had one job, right? it's not even to be this big points per game. You score great, but they got people who can score. You need to be the person that we can give the ball to when all the chaos ain't working, and you can help us slow it down. And you failed at that, so we got to go get that or develop Dylan Harper into being that, which I think probably is the better option. And now you're going to be the sixth man of the year, but are you okay with being the sixth man of the year? And that's going to be an interesting conversation because I think they could get away with not doing anything in that scenario, just switching the roles. Just switch the roles. Dylan Harper's now your starting point guard.
I think what's going to hurt the Spurs next year, they got to pay Wemby next year. Like next year, he's up for a new contract. Like next year.
That's if he's up, that means Stephon Castle's up.
You're going to have to give him $600 million.
Is that the number? No, that's not the number, Drew. Did you just make that up?
I'm gonna tell you why. No, I'm gonna tell you why I say that.
Whose contract? What's the highest currently though? Just let's start there.
I have to look it up, but remember
because you just said 600.
No, I'm gonna tell you why I say that. 2 years ago, didn't they just give what's the dude for the Boston? Curly hair. I can't think his name right now.
Tatum.
Tatum got $400 million, like 450 2 years ago.
But they don't just jump from 4 to 6. That's a big jump.
I'm just saying. Well, I'm exaggerating, but I'm saying they're gonna have to break the bank.
But the problem is Castle's they're gonna have to break the bank on Wemby and also Castle. And as bad as he didn't have a great finals. Don't forget, he balled.
Yeah, you gotta pay him.
So you gotta pay him. Dylan Harper, you ain't gotta pay him yet, but you better have that money in the bank ready.
And Champagne, his contract up next year.
He might could go home. Now we got somewhere, guys. We figured it out. I was trying to figure out where would we go. How could we get I was trying to figure out how could we get a center. Ding, ding,
That's
ding.
funny.
I think we figured it out. Because I think he's redundant.
Well, to be honest,
who's better?
Half of the roster's redundant.
Well, no, but it's only redundant once you get to a point, right? Having 2 to 3 of those guys is one thing. Having 4 or 5 of those guys, Mason Plumlee. You got to have a white boy quota. It's a white boy quota. You can't.
Because the Spurs don't allow that. Yeah.
I think he's the only one. And it's a black coach.
I'm gonna do you one better. Bismack Biyombe. Why is he there?
Okay,
he's never gonna play.
He didn't either. But you gotta have him just in case somebody get hurt. But
they have 4 centers, literally outside of Wemby. They have Kelly Olynyk, Mason Plumlee, and Bismack Biyombe, and Luke Cornett. If you're not gonna play him, why are they all on the roster? They have 4 centers that don't play.
Somebody get hurt. You gotta have one available. But anyway, Champagne and Vassell, redundant. You don't need both of them. It's great to have both of them if you don't need anything else. But now it's becoming, Dylan Harper needs to play a lot of minutes. Stephon Castle probably needs to play more minutes. Not more minutes, but he needs to continue to play a lot of minutes. And I like Devin Vassell.
I like Vassell. Do you re-sign Harrison Barnes? Because his contract is up.
Oh, God, no.
And he made $19 million this year.
Harrison Barnes would have told you no. Harrison Barnes didn't say nothing. He's not expecting them to call him. He is not expecting a call.
Or he's done.
He's absolutely out of here.
That's $19 million off the roster.
What?
Keldon Johnson due for a new contract next year.
I like him. He played like a running back. I kind of like him. How tall is he?
I do.
How tall is he?
Let's see.
And how tall is he, Vassell, and Champagne? How have you seen
Keldon,
that?
they say 6'6", but he seemed taller than that.
Because if Dylan Harper's 6'5", Castle's 6'5", Vassell's got to be taller than that.
Let's see, Vassell.
And I like Vassell. I actually like Vassell, so I would prefer not to get rid of him.
No, I like Vassell. He's a smart 6'5". They're all 6'5", 6'6".
And how tall is Champagne?
Let's see. Let me go back. Actually, that nigga the same height. Hold on.
It honestly works for them because you don't really need 6'8" guys if you got a 7'4" guy back there. It kind of works. I agree. They're all long. They switch everything.
6'7".
Who, Vassell?
No, Champagne.
Oh, well, Vassell. Oh, no. Dang, okay.
6'7".
We'll see. All right, so let's talk about Giannis for a little bit, though. All right, so Giannis, the draft is in the next week or two. week, within the next week. I think it's next week, NBA draft, and it's expected that Giannis will be traded before the draft. So, I got two questions. Let's start with your team. Do you want him? You Phoenix. You're a Phoenix fan. Would you take Giannis? Do you want Giannis?
I don't think, again, obviously I would take him, but one thing I hate about getting the top five player, you got to gut your team to get him. Like, there's no scenario where we can keep, to me, a playable roster and get Giannis. I'd rather pick up three really good players than have one great one and Devin Booker. Because you got to get rid of everybody else. I don't. Nah,
That's
I don't want him.
that's my whole thing. I don't know if he's 31. I don't know when's the last
Coming
time he
off an
played.
injury.
When is the last time he played a full playoff?
The last time I played.
You stupid.
So it's like, okay, there's that, right? And then, like you said, what you going to have to give up to get him? I don't want to do it for an immediate, because now you got to pay him a contract extension. That's the thing. He's doing a contract extension in the next year. He's gonna want to like the
Supermax.
next 2 years. Well, and there you go. And so it's like, and the league is not even designed for that anymore. With the second apron and the way team, you better get depth and more depth. That's what you got to win with. I don't want to pay more than one person to max on my team. One max player, and then I go from there. I don't see it. Boston, they're talking about, and Miami. Miami, I can see it because who cares? It's Miami.
I don't even see how Boston works.
Well, they would pair him and Tatum, but I wouldn't do that.
Hell no.
I wouldn't do that. Tatum's coming off an injury, and he's coming off an injury. Yeah, I wouldn't do that. He clogs up the paint for Tatum. I know you hate the way Boston plays, but you need spacing to play like that. So there's that. What team do you think he would fit well with? I've been racking my brain.
Shit.
What does it make sense?
I gotta pull up the teams. Hold on, because this is 1 second.
I even heard people say New York need to. Are you crazy? Like I think New York.
No.
I think there's some things New York needs to do, but that's not one of them. That's not one of them.
You got to break up the whole roster.
That's not one of them.
So that wouldn't work. You know who he would work with, in my opinion? Detroit. Detroit got a lot of pieces, and to me, Detroit is not built to be a championship team. Even though they were the 1 seed in the East all season, outside of Cade, like, who balls consistently for Detroit? Like, Cade needs that second piece. I think he works in Detroit. You give up a couple picks, 2-3 pieces. Again, you ain't gonna lose nothing.
Here's the issue with Detroit. It's in Detroit.
Yeah, he has to want to go, right?
I remember in Milwaukee for the last decade. I'm sure Boston, New York, Miami. Those are the teams he was talking about. I don't think Detroit's on the list. I just don't think so.
But those teams have to want him too. And I get what you're saying. It's just
they want him.
You have
I think they do.
You got to give up Brown to get him in Boston. Plus, that won't be a Brown in a couple pieces. Who else you said? You said New York?
Well, I've heard he won. I don't know if New York has any interest in doing that, but I heard he won. But Miami's the other team I heard about.
New York would have to give up 2 starters.
Well, I don't think New York's a realistic option. I don't think New York has mutual interest. I think he just had interest in New York.
And what was the other team?
Miami.
He might fit in Miami.
Here's what I think he should do. If he doesn't want to go to, here's what Giannis should do. He should go to Brooklyn.
I'd be forgetting they have a team.
Yep. Ain't heard nothing about Brooklyn in about 2 years. I go to Brooklyn. Yeah. Here's why I would go to Brooklyn. It's the other New York team. You get to New York, and if you make Brooklyn relevant, you have a nice in-city rivalry, right? But I go to Brooklyn. Here's why if you go to Brooklyn now, what it does. It allows you to take this season and recruit, right? And you get people who want to be in New York, you can get people to Brooklyn, right? There's some pieces, there's some, I think if he goes to a place like Brooklyn, I think within 2 years they could be title contenders with the right staff.
You know, I think works also Dallas. I think Dallas works.
I don't like Dallas.
I think Dallas works because again, ain't nobody on that team. But let me pull up Dallas roster. Hold on.
But you have a young core, and so you already got Kyrie Irving. Now you've turned that young core into an older team. I don't think they want to do that. I think they're building around Cooper Flag.
They're building around him, but as far as the young core, they got Chris Middleton, Caleb Martin. Them
But
niggas
what
ain't
you
young.
but what you not but those people that make sound like they're gonna who cares about them? Nobody cares about any of those people. No, but I think it's something to be said. They want to build around, like, they want to build around Cooper Flag, and that doesn't. I don't think that makes sense to give Giannis a supermax if that's what you're trying to do.
The only reason I say it is because I think Dallas has the cap space to pay him, and Dallas can gut their roster because I feel like they're gonna cut half of them next year anyway. Like Clay Thompson, he's gone next year. Chris Middleton's gone next year. Daniel Gafford, I think he's probably gone next year. They're gonna get rid of half of the roster either way because Dallas still has, to your point, built around Cooper Flag, but they can't do it with those pieces. Much as
Now,
I
agree
love and
with
respect
that.
Clay,
I just don't think I agree with all of that.
he's my exact fit.
Yeah, I don't think Giannis. It just doesn't make sense. Like I just don't think it makes sense. It sounds good 5 years ago to go get Giannis. 3 years ago to go get Giannis. For what it's going to cost to go get Giannis, I'm gonna leave him where he at. I honestly feel I'm trying to think if I was the GM of other than like a Brooklyn, because that gets butts in my seats and that attracts free agents. Other Charlotte,
He's not coming to Charlotte.
I agree, but I'm just saying, if I'm Charlotte, I probably try to do that, and I try to pair him, Brandon Miller, and Melo together. Okay, I'd have a conversation about that. Who else? Give me it. It just really does not make sense. Portland, nobody knows what Portland's doing. So,
Shit, tanking games. And the other part is like Giannis wants to win, right? So we're talking about teams where he can fit on, but like realistically,
exactly.
where does he want to go? Because he's gonna want. Like you say, he's getting older, injury, his second injury. So it's
This
like,
is
who's
where
actually
the Boston thing. If I'm any kind of close, any playoff, put like this, any playoff team this year, I wouldn't have done it. I won't do it. Maybe Minnesota. I'm sorry, I lied. But that's a little bit very expensive. Very expensive. But if they can figure out the cap, Minnesota might be the team. Because Julius Randle. Actually, no, I don't agree with that. They got a young core.
They do, but
They got R.J. Barrett, but you can't. If you got a young core, you got to rock with the young core.
Well, you should. You should. But I
They
think
got Scotty
because
Barnes, R.J. Barrett. They got a
no,
good core.
they got talent. And to your point, I'm just
And
talking about like
I don't think Giannis helps them either.
I think he definitely helps them
They're
because
not shooters. They're not shooters. They're go to the paint players. Giannis does not spread the court. He clogs it up. The reason they have trouble now is you don't have no shooters. The reason they won a championship, they had shooters around him. Chris Middleton was a shooter. Drew Holiday can shoot. Like he is going to clog the lane. Scotty Barnes is not a shooter. RJ Barrett is not a shooter. So their game is predicated on being able to get in the lane. Well, if you got Giannis on your team, guess what? You're not going to have room to play in the lane.
yeah, because they only have two shooters:
It don't work.
Grady Dick, and probably Lawson.
And who are that?
They don't play.
Who are those people?
Right.
They need somebody who can stretch the floor. Like they need a floor stretch, or a big who can stretch the floor. Excuse me. Who worked there really well there? AD.
I can see that.
AD will work phenomenal in Toronto. Even though if I'm Washington, I do everything. Skittles. Even though, honestly, if I'm Washington, I try to keep him. Guys, let's look what Washington has. Don't they got the number one pick?
Let me see. Shit, they should.
Pull up their roster and their pick. Washington this ain't a blow up. This is see what you got and let's see what we can do with this. They got Trae Young and AD. Let's start there. Now, if they could go get them some, and then I think they got a top 3 pick.
Washington roster.
I like D'Angelo Russell. People don't like D'Angelo Russell. They have So the point they have pieces, and if they got pieces like that, and they have a top 3 pick, I know for sure in this draft.
No, we should they only won
I think
17 games. Yes.
Yeah, I think Utah got the first pick, but they got a top 3 pick, so they're about to get a highly drafted. I think, and they got this. This is the draft where this is one of the drafts where they got players, so they have. Listen, man, you could do one or two things. If you could try to flip AD, but I would see what I got, and they may go into the season and see what they got, flip them at the trade deadline. But I would see what I got. I wouldn't necessarily be so quick to make a move. You got to get pieces, man. And this ain't I don't know. The NBA is showing you that the whole accumulate stars is not. It's not where it's at.
Yeah, that's not what wins championships anymore.
That's not where it's at. Yeah, that is not it. That is not it. What was it? What else that was going on? All right, so boom. What was it I was trying to talk about? Harold, what did I tell you? It was something else we was talking about.
No, I think that was you said as far as do they need to change anything? Do we need to as far as ADP? I think that was it was one other thing. I can't remember. I'm not even.
So I want to end it with this conversation.
I know it wasn't I know it wasn't.
You said something, but I don't.
Yeah, like you. It was a third topic, but
it was a third topic. Yeah, but I do want to end it with this. Jalen Brunson. I've heard blasphemy on those ESPN streets these last couple of days, and I wanted to bring it to the podcast. Jalen Brunson. Is Jalen Brunson the best player in the league?
Hell no.
Okay, all right. Well, at least we know we still got sense over here. I've heard he's the best point guard. He's in an argument for the best point guard, which I don't think he is. And they say he's in an argument for MVP, which I don't think he is. And the argument is if you win MVP of the team that wins the finals, then you got to be in the conversation. Which I think that's a load of crap. It's a load of crap. I mean, no disrespect to Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson is a phenomenal situational player. I have zero slander for Jalen Brunson. I have no hype comments, none of that. He won an NBA championship, dropped 45 in game 5. So I don't have no. But understand, in order for the Knicks to have won that championship, they had to switch up and they had to let Karl Anthony Towns become the center of their offense. Did they not?
I don't think either. Honestly, no, I'm not disagreeing with you. I don't think either one of them, outside of Game 5, was MVP. I think what's old boy's name? Who hit that little putback? Damn, what's his name? OG to me was the most consistent player because everybody's talking about it. Game 1 through 3.
But when you lay an egg in Game 5 and Brunson dropped 45,
that's the only reason because he closed out. But games 1 through 4, OG was the best player on that court every game.
Okay, granted. Now, but it's a couple things that I'll give to Brunson. He's probably the best clutch player in the league.
Yeah, he's Mr. Clutch. He's Mr. Clutch.
Best clutch player in the league. But it goes to question, I'll ask it this way. Who would you rather have? And I think that's a different question than who's better. For example, I'm just going to name people. You just tell me when you get to a person that you would like to have Jalen Brunson over them. SGA. And I'm keeping it in his positional group. SGA. Okay. Luke, right?
Thinking.
Oh, okay. And Luka?
The only reason I say that's because
speak your piece.
As talented as Luka is, I feel like, and I'm using Lakers for example, right? I feel like a lot of his stats are like forced. And what I mean by that is leads the team in points, rebounds, and assists, right? But like a lot of those plays, I see people literally clearing out for him to get double-digit rebounds. And again, I'm not saying he's not a talent. Luka takes a lot of jump shots. He's not efficient. Luka's not that efficient. He just scores a lot because he shoots in volume. As great as Luka is,
all that sounds great.
I would.
Are you
honestly
taking Jalen Brunson over Luka Doncic? Yes or no?
I might.
That's not a yes or a no.
It's not a definite yes, but I'm gonna tell you, I could go either way on that one.
It's a podcast. You have to answer the question, my guy. We don't
I take.
podcast don't survive in the gray.
I'm gonna take Brunson.
Okay, you taking Jalen Brunson over Luka. Okay. What about Dame Lillard?
I'm gonna take Jalen Brunson over Dame Lillard.
What about Jalen Brown?
Take Jalen Brown.
Trae Young? I'm taking Jalen Brunson over Trae Young.
Yeah, I'm about to say.
Don't even worry
You
about
answer
it.
your question now.
Don't even worry about it. I'm trying to think. Your team, Devin Booker.
I'm gonna take Book. I'm taking Book.
Can I ask you a question? Why?
I'm only taking Booker because I think Booker doesn't get the recognition he deserves because he's in Phoenix. Book is like he's one of the most efficient players in the league, especially from like mid range, right? Book average, I think, like 28 points per game, but again, it goes unnoticed because it's in Phoenix. He averages 6 assists and like 6 or 7 rebounds, and he's a closer. Book is their closer. He just doesn't get recognition because he's in Phoenix. Even when we had KD, Book led the team in points and assists. It's just, if a tree falls in the woods and nobody there to see it, did it fall? I people don't understand how good Devin Booker actually is.
I think people understand.
I'm telling you, because they don't get a lot of televised games either. I'm telling you, people don't understand how good Devin Booker actually is. That boy puts
So,
in work.
it sounds like you really like Devin Booker.
Well, that's my guy. That's my guy.
Clearly. All right, so I'm going to give a couple of stat comparisons for the two for this season. Harold, I want you to give me, because clearly Drew's a fan. Harold, I want to hear your opinion, whatever it may be, after I get these stats. Okay. Games played: Devin Booker 64, Jalen Brunson 74. Points per game: Devin Booker 26.1, Jalen Brown 26. Rebounds per game: Jalen Brunson 3.3, Devin Booker 3.9. Assists per game: Devin Booker 6 even, Jalen Brunson 6.8. Field goal percentage: Jalen Brunson 46.7, Devin Booker 45.6. 3-point percentage: Jalen Brunson 36.9, Jalen Brunson 33.0. True shooting percentage. They do a little true shooting percentage. Jalen Brunson 58, Devin Booker 58.5. They both have 0.8 steals per game. And this is the last stat I'll give. Turnovers: Jalen Brunson 2.4, Devin Booker 3.1. Here's the only reason I brought that up. You brought up a lot of stats, Drew. But it actually, in this, Harold, I'm sorry. Harold, go ahead.
From what
Your
you just
thoughts.
said,
Based on the conversation we're having and what I just said, what are your thoughts?
same player.
Well, before, yeah, I'm about to say the stats is comparable. Like the percentage
You're the
wise
person
between.
that's you
No.
gave
I just
stats
said who
as
I
the
would
better,
take.
so I'm
No,
just
I
comparing
gave a reason why I would take him. I can't speak for nobody else, but based on what
Well,
you said, the
here's the
percentage is
reason.
like less than 1 point in each category. Booker's better in one category. He's but go ahead.
You're making my argument. I
For me,
asked you who would listen to what I'm saying. I asked you who would you take. You said Devin Booker. Your why was his stats.
yes.
I read the stats and they're even. So my question to you, even though you read the stats, even though this may have not, I'm gonna say it like I said to my wife, even though that may have not been your intent, the impression, and correct me if I'm wrong, Harold, that you gave when you gave the stats or his stats are better, we just don't get to watch it. That's what I interpreted. Is that, Harold, is that how you got it? Before you answer, Drew. I'm asking. I'm not trying to, I'm asking.
No, yeah.
Maybe I read it wrong.
No. I'll let Harold respond before I respond.
I think he's frozen. So, but in turn,
Of course, it would go out when it was my time to shine. I was
That's
ready
funny.
to talk some basketball, man. This thing just froze on me.
You
Nah,
back.
but yeah, no,
What
that's
you
the
got?
impression. That's the impression. Go ahead. With your thought.
Go ahead, Drew.
No. Okay. So again,
So that's why I responded with the stats. Like, hey, well, they're the same players. So if the stats were
well, no, but
go
they're
ahead,
not the same.
you
But
got
I'm
it.
gonna tell you what. But they're not the same player because again, yeah, the stats are
I got you.
comparable. But that's like saying, okay, I don't know how tall is Jalen Brunson?
They list him at 6'2", so he probably my height.
6'2". So Devin Booker's 6'5", right? So I'm gonna use Twan's likes and dislikes.
I
If
got
I
you.
have a if I have a
No,
player
I
who's
didn't
six
tell you I
five,
wasn't taking Devin
no, no, I
Booker
got you.
first. I
I
would.
got
I
a
probably would.
6'5" player opposed to a 6'2" player, and
I'm
stats are
taking.
comparable.
Yep.
I'm gonna take the 6'5" player, just using
Agreed.
plus. Devin Booker's not a
Agreed.
point guard, so the only stats that
He,
only stat,
he's a ball dominant guard. So I kind of put
but
ball
he
dominant
but he
guards on
has to
there.
be on that
Yeah.
team.
I'm
That's
not
the only
saying he's
reason.
right or wrong. I'm
Yeah,
just
yeah.
he's a ball dominant guard. I take Devin Booker, but it's purely because of height. I'm not gonna
Well,
say his
mine is
stats did
height
it.
plus his stats because again, to be that efficient, well, because again, that efficient at the two guard position, but you have to run the point on that team. That's impressive to me. So now I'm gonna take. So his stats are still important, and the
So
reason why I'm taking him.
okay, I, I do. I have a short prejudice. Y'all know this about me. But here's why I give Jalen Brunson his credit. If you're saying Devin Booker is putting out that type of output at 6'5", and that man's doing it at 6'2", I got to give him credit for that.
Oh, he's a
Now,
dog. Brunson's a dog.
yeah,
I don't
got to
take
give him
nothing
credit
from
for
him.
that.
He's a dog.
Yeah, he is. That's okay. Okay. So now, New York Knicks. We'll end it on this one. End it on the Knicks. What are the chances the Knicks repeat?
0.
Oh my goodness. So why not? Tell me why. What do I need to do to make sure that happens?
I feel like, and I don't want to sound like I'm taking away what they did to get here,
Listen, okay.
but
Caveat. Let me preempt this by saying, hey guys, congratulations to the Knicks. Everybody but Harold on this podcast is happy for you. We, this is not slander. New
absolutely.
York, shout out to the real Knicks fans. Shout out to New York. Y'all have a blast, have a ball. Now let's go back to what we was talking about.
I feel like they just had and again, I'll take away they balled, but I feel like their path this year was just it was meant for them. The Boston injury, the the Cleveland beating Detroit. I just feel like the path was set for them, and also just I felt like the Spurs were the better team this
Do you
year going
think
into the playoffs.
Detroit was going to beat the Knicks? Is that
No,
what you're
I felt like
saying?
they gave them a better series. I feel like
How? How? And I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm really interested as to how. Do you
because I
think that
because
would happen?
Detroit gets in the paint. I feel like the only reason the Spurs lost that game is jump shots. Detroit scores like 60% of their shots or points in the paint. And that honestly is New York's weakness. This is the first series
How?
that wasn't in
How is that in how is that New York sweetness?
I'm about to tell you.
Mitchell, I think that was the strength. I think that was the reason why.
It was this but this is the only time it's been a strength. I remember the first two series, there were games Cat couldn't play at all. And I say he didn't get in foul trouble this series, but it wasn't on fouls
He
in
had
the
to make some
paint.
adjustment. He had to make some adjustments. Yeah.
But at no point did they really just go at the Knicks. Jalen Brunson, how many times do you see guards just going at him? They settled on jump shots.
No, they go at him all the time.
They go at him and they drive into the paint and kick it out. I'm
The
saying
series, the Philly series, they lost, but the
no,
Philly
Philly.
series, they was going.
I'm talking about the Spurs
Oh, you mean the
specifically.
Spurs? Okay, I'm
Yes,
sorry. Okay,
Spurs.
yeah,
They
yeah.
did not exploit. I
No,
felt like the Spurs should have.
they
I
didn't.
put like
You're right.
this.
They
I
didn't.
felt
They
like
didn't.
I think me and you chose the Spurs to win the series in the West, right? Was it me and you, or was it me and Marcus? I don't recall. No, Marcus chose OKC, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Do you feel like New York would have beat OKC, a healthy OKC?
I'm going through the roster. I'm just looking at matchups. No. And the reason I say no is because they were behind in every game this
Thank you.
series,
That's my only point.
and I
There's no
don't
way
think
OKC
OKC gives
blows
those
a
games back
lead. Thank you. That's
every
my only
game.
point.
Yeah, they're not doing that.
OKC does not blow those leads the way this because again, the way Shea gets in the paint, he'd have fouled the whole team out. And you up by 15, 29? Come on.
Good point.
Again,
All right,
I
let's move off. No, you're right. This is a
no
good
no no
point.
no.
Good point. You got a good point. But I actually want to end it on this. I switched it up. Thank you, Harold, for bringing it back. All right, so now we have 8. Is that 8? 8 or 9 different champions.
Oh, it's
I
hard.
thought.
Oh, my bad.
Are you? Did you freeze? Okay.
I don't know. Did I?
Your hands are just out. You just kind of.
Oh, I don't.
Anyway, we'll move forward. Forgive us. Anyway, 8 or 9 different champions over the last 8 or 9 years in the NBA. So there has not been any repeat champions. So we had teams like Denver we thought was going to bring the dynasty up. OKC, which still can. It's not too late. This won't be back to back. We had a few teams that we thought were bubbling up to become dynasties. So which do you prefer and why? Parity or dynasties? And we'll end it on that.
Harold, you want
I like. I'll be honest. If it's not my team, I don't want to see a dynasty. That's just yeah. I don't want to see a dynasty if it's not my team. But no, I like every year it could be somebody different. I think that is what keeps you. That's what keeps you glued, and then also it kind of only makes sense the fact that people move around and these deals like if it's a lot of moving like this and you still have dynasties, what are the other teams moving for? So like why do the deals? Why do those trades? So I think if you can do those trades in sports and get different champions every year, it makes sense or it helps add sense to it changing. So I'm good with champions, different champions every year.
Yeah, I'm gonna say the same. I don't care for the whole dynasty thing. It's just I don't want to start the season. And again, everybody will have favorites, but I don't want to start the season knowing who's going to win, barring injury. Like that takes away the fun of it to me and excitement. It's like, what teams are gonna be there in the end, but I don't want teams winning back to back to back championships. Because to Harold's point, it's like to
It
me
gets
that was
boring.
the Golden State era. That was the almost the Cleveland era, the Miami era. It's like when those super teams basically. That's what that used to happen. But ever since the talent got dispersed and you see good players going to different teams, like you
Different
said,
teams are popping up.
yeah, like the last 8 years, they've been the only repeat in the last 8 years has been Golden State. Outside of
And when
that,
they, that's the reason I had said it was none.
yeah. So
Because
it's like,
it would have been a Golden State repeating if there was none. I
well,
don't
no,
know
not
where they.
not back to back, but they won twice in the last 8 years. But in the last 8 years, there's only been I just found this out. There's only been one 7 game series in the last 8 years. So it's
In
kind
the
of like
finals or just in the finals?
in
You
the
mean?
finals, there's only been
Oh, okay.
one game seven.
Last year.
Yeah, that was it. That was the
Oh,
only
okay.
one.
Interesting. I
So
think I think I think I think dynasties only for the are only for the diehard fans. I think dynasties only really serve diehard fans, people who are gonna watch regardless, or people who are. I think it helps the media. Dynasties help, and so I was paying attention on ESPN and Jay Williams, which I honestly rarely like any of his opinions, but to each his own. Um, Jay Williams was talking about how he likes greatness and this, and I was like, how does parody offer lack of greatness? But whatever. Vinny Goodwill was like, he likes the bad guy, everybody chasing him. I was like, all right, cool, cool, cool. I think to me that's a very media vantage point take because who does that serve? It serves you all because you have stories you can write about and endless stories you can tell and all that stuff. Here's what parody does. You know how glued to the game one of the NBA season the New York Knicks fans are going to be next year?
absolutely,
Do you know how glued the San Antonio fans are going to be? Because they were right. Okay, what do we got to get back? They're going to be engaged from the beginning. OKC, because we got to get back. It's about 10 teams, honestly speaking, as of this moment, who probably think we a move or two here, I got a chance. Let's do it. Let's go through. Let's go through. Eastern Conference. And I'm not going to name every team. Just stop me when I get to the teams like, all right, they don't have a chance. Knicks, obviously, they got a chance. Boston,
of course.
Cleveland, Detroit,
Cleveland feels like it. Yeah,
Detroit. I'm going to say this. Now, not as currently constructed, so I think those are the as currently constructed teams in the East right now that could say, if we don't do anything, we got a shot, right? I think if the Orlando Magic make the right move or two, they could be in the mix, right? And so now that's 5 teams right there. So let's go to the West, and it's probably more if you look. But I'm
said the
not trying to go
Sixers. I
crazy.
bet you the Sixers feel like that.
The Sixers, they figured that out. They're not too far out of it. A move or two here or there. That's 5 or 6 teams. So now you go to the West. You got the Spurs, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
OKC, right?
Right.
Denver, Minnesota.
Lakers gonna feel like it.
Lakers gonna feel like they got a shot. Move again. They got a shot. That's 5.
The Rockets.
The Rockets. That's 6. Right? And it's probably still other teams that, so you're looking at 10, 11, that's a third of the league. Not who feel like they should make the playoffs, who think they are within 1 or 2 moves of being contenders for a championship. That's 10 to 12 fan bases who believe their team, who without being delusional. That ain't even counting the delusional fan bases. Like, that's a third of the league's fan bases. That's different cities that are engaged in these teams, in these games. That's what you want. I guarantee you, if you think your team is trash, you're really not engaged in the middle of October for basketball season, unless you're a diehard fan. If you're a casual fan, you're doing something else. But if your team has got a shot and they're winning games and it's momentum in the city, it's like, oh, okay, that's bringing fans. That's what the league wants. Nobody, like, I'm not watching this. The Warriors gonna win. Ain't no need for me to. It gets boring. It gets boring. You don't watch. You don't want to watch those games. I don't know. That's just my opinion.
I agree.
Yeah. Anyway, but listen, that's been another episode of the Hot Seat Podcast. That is another season. We actually made it through 2 seasons. Look at God. Hey, 2 seasons of the Hot Seat Podcast. We taking a summer break to get our summer bodies and our minds and all those things right, and come back football season ready to rock and roll. Well, Harold will be an active participant in the podcast. You did good today, Harold. I'm not even going to lie. For the season finale, you did very good, and I'm very proud of you. I appreciate that. You really carried you carried the weight because Marcus wasn't here today. So I was, But anyway, man, on that note, we out. It's been another episode of another season of the Hot Seat Podcast. We'll come back next season. We'll try to get it right or not. Either way, it'll be interesting. Y'all be blessed. Y'all be out. Y'all be good. We out. Peace.
Peace.
Okay.